All right, there we go. So yeah, so I wanted to bring you on because again, I think you have a lot to offer. I want you to. A lot of the problem that I'm seeing is a lot of Blacks just it's hard for them to see how realistic it is for them to actually become a cloud engineer, especially from their backgrounds, especially for those who have zero tech experience. So I want to get them a bird's eye view on actual professionals who are not only in the field, but thriving in the field, such as yourself. And yeah, man, we're just gonna have a casual talk. We're gonna have a good time. You know, I got my cigar, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what y'all smoking on, you know what I'm saying? I hope it's legal where you at. You know, whatever you're smoking on or sipping on. But we're gonna have a good time, man. It's gonna be laid back, man. It's, you know, we're gonna have an environment. I want everyone to mute except me and Mike. And I'm gonna open the floor up eventually for Q&As along the way. And then, you know, we're gonna shoot them off at you. But for right now, everybody relax, you know, open your ears, crack open, you know, something to sip on. And you know, let's just have ourselves a good old time. All right, you cool with that, Mike?
I'm cool.
Okay.
I'm cool. It's my cigars are upstairs and my other stuff is upstairs too.
My other stuff. Okay, I like that. I like that.
But I got a red cup, but it's just water right now.
Right, for legal purposes. Right, it's just water.
Yeah.
It's like that. All right, cool. All right, cool, Mike. Yeah, man. So let's just start it off, man. So explain to all of us. Again, you don't have to go into too much detail, but just keep it simple as you can, keep it honest as you can. And again, remember, just a relaxed environment. It's not an interview for a magazine or anything. We talking to our people. Tell everybody what it is that you do exactly, and how did you end up getting into the role that you're currently working in as a security engineer?
Yeah, no problem. So right now I work as a senior cloud data security engineer for a company called Vimeo, Vimeo. You probably heard of them. Anytime you see somebody doing anything on YouTube or anything else, you know, they've probably used Vimeo software. It's a software as a service company. Back in the day, they were like a YouTube competitor, but about 5-6 years ago, they shifted and became a software as a service company. And so,
yeah, I know that for $30 a month. I definitely know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for contributing to my household.
I was like, I like it. And Vimeo has it on lock because Patreon that's the only way you can upload a video to Patreon is using Vimeo.
Yeah. And oftentimes through YouTube as well.
Yeah. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And you can't do nothing private without Vimeo. I was like, man. So, okay. I like that. All right. Go ahead. My bad.
All right, so that's what I do for those guys. And I've only been there since the first of this year, actually. And my background is for IT, information technology. I need you guys to understand that think of IT as a rainbow, right? In each layer, each strata that you have a different type of job. So when people say IT, I don't want people to think that they have to know how to code, or that they have to know how to work on a computer or work on a server, right? There are so many different things in that entire spectrum. So when somebody said that they work in IT, you know, I need you to understand that they just work in technology, right? They're not in a specific mind frame or silo. So for me, my background is inside that rainbow is infrastructure. And what infrastructure is literally, think of it as the highway. If you're in Atlanta, you know, you got 285 and 20, right? Wherever you are in the country, you know, you have a highway. Well, the packets, the information that you, or this video call right here, right? It's being routed through someone's infrastructure, right? It's being produced on someone's server. You know, the encoding is going on someone's server. And the packets are being routed and switched through your internet service provider, right? So that's infrastructure. It's basically the backbone of everything. And that's why I try to get people to get started at is in infrastructure, because everybody need infrastructure, folks. I don't care where you are, everyone need infrastructure. And that's my background as an infrastructure.
How long did you do infrastructure for?
Oh man, I started out in the United States Army. Back in 1987. So that's So a lot of you guys weren't even born then, probably.
About half of people on this call weren't born then.
Yeah. So that's
Raleigh,
how long I've been in.
okay, Raleigh, you got some facial hair. You might have been born.
Oh, he as old as me. Yeah. So.
Oh, you saying that's that die? Is that what you're saying, Mike? That's that die.
High school that year.
Okay. So were you a system engineer prior to infrastructure? Because that's what I see a lot of. Okay, that makes sense. Because that's usually the migration point. Okay.
Yeah. So I started out with there was a company around called Netware. I started out with Netware 3.11, and then was also Lotus Notes from IBM.
Lotus. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're just bringing me back, man. Okay.
Yeah. And then Microsoft came around with something called New Technologies, Windows NT. I actually began on Windows NT 3.5.1.
Was that the first networking machine?
Yeah, that was the first enterprise server. Was NT technology. And then it became NT 4.0, and that's where the first Microsoft systems, MCSC, Microsoft Certified System Engineers, came about. And that's when everybody started to be getting into system engineering and sysadmin work, because you can just go get a couple certifications and start making $60,000 a year.
Ooh. And what year were you talking? Like what?
We're talking the early 90s.
Ooh, so it's making 60 a year off a certification back then? Oh my God.
One certification. Yeah.
So what, so even to go prior to that, what was what caused your interest to want to even get into the field of working with machines? Like, were you the traditional, nerd kid growing up, or?
No. I was a curbside pharmaceutical salesman. And
so you always been getting the money, what you're saying. Medical salesman.
So, but I ended up joining the Army right before crack blew up real big in New Orleans. That's why I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so that was my saving grace getting out of there.
Okay.
So I joined the Army to be a personnel sergeant, sort of like a HR generalist. But they saw something in me, evidently, in my aptitude scores, where they actually sent me to a computer school as a specialty. And that's how I got into it. I had no idea I was going to do this in my life. I was just trying to make it past age 18, 21.
So you didn't have a computer in the house growing up or anything like that?
Hell no. The most I had was a scale. And it was digital scale back in those days, along with my beeper.
Digital scale with the beeper. I already know what type of time you on. Okay. Wow, man. That's awesome, man. No, that's awesome. You didn't pick this up until an adult. And the reason I wanted to harp on that is because, so many of our folk, feel like, since they didn't grow up to be groomed into the industry, coming from like a tech background or video games or something like that. They feel like it's like foreign territory. But if you could pick it up as an adult, then most other adults, like you said, they just saw that it was your aptitude.
Right? Yeah, and let's fast forward to the early 2000s, right?
Okay.
We're really 1990, 98, 99. I don't know if y'all remember the big Y2K scare.
Oh, right? Yeah, I remember the book that came out.
Yeah, so everybody was getting paper back in those days. All you had to do was know how to spell IT, right, and put it on your resume, and you got a job, making some paper, right? And you just fake the funk until you figured out what was going on, all right? And back in those days, I had started working with at FedEx in Memphis, Tennessee, as a contractor doing some Cisco networking. Because I read an article in Global Knowledge or whatever it was, and they were talking about the highest paid certifications, and Cisco CCIE was number one. Wow. And so I said, well, let me go learn some Cisco. I already got the Microsoft stuff down. Let me go learn some Cisco. I ain't know shit about it, right? But I said, let me go learn it. If that's where the money's at, let me go learn it. So that's what I did, and I got my CCNA, and still to this day, if you don't know anything about it, you can get a Cisco CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate certification, And I was hoping my boy and his kids would jump on this call because he's a network engineer. Both his kids, they recently got CCNAs. His son got it last December. Let me put it this way. He was 21 years old. He was a roofer, right? He got his CCNA and, and now he's making what, 80,000 6 months later.
If anybody doesn't know, I used to do a process insurance claims for roofers.
Yeah.
They are like, you're not, they're not they're not, it's not a tech savvy job at all.
No.
It's a very blue collar job.
Yeah.
Very blue collar. Wow.
Yeah.
In 1 year.
Well, no. It was less than 6 months. From 0 to 80 grand in 6 months. And what I've been trying to do,
at 20, hey, how old is he now?
21.
You know what you can give, man, at 21, man, what?
Yeah.
You couldn't give me $50,000 at 21 years old. You hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just,
But that's what over the past 2 years, really, I've been evangelizing and trying to teach people how to do cloud infrastructure, because it's so easy. I can take you as your mentor from, making whatever you are right now. And I don't know what people make. I don't know, because I'm just be honest, I'm biased. If somebody talking to me less than a certain 6-figure amount, I don't even talk to you. Right. So, just don't embarrass yourself like that. Right. But I can take somebody that's, in whatever field that they're in, and within 6 months, get them a job.
Somebody working at IHOP, they're IHOP cook.
Exactly. You could be homeless, but everybody got a goddamn phone, right? Everybody got a phone. I can show you how to get what you need to get.
And where you located currently, Mike?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay, you're in the city. Okay, good, great. Even better. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Okay. My bad. Go ahead, finish your point.
Yeah, and so it's really, really easy, and it's literally just, I tell everybody, an hour a day. That's all it takes. It takes you an hour a day, 1 hour a day over a 6-month period, 1 hour a day. And you can make 6 figures the rest of your life with no student loan debt at all, no debt at all. And it's literally less than $300 investment, $40 for a class, and $120 to $200 for the exam fee. That's it. So,
and Mike, and we're gonna definitely circle back around to that, because that's such an excellent point, and that's a preaching position that many of us try to get across to our people, to understand the low investment cost financially for the high yielding results fiscally. The most thing that you're investing is literally your time. But let me ask you this. So what would you say was one of the most challenging aspects of your career, working in the industry? What would you say was the most challenging stumbling block? And then follow up with what was something that you thought was going to be challenging, or the most challenging, but turned out not to be nearly as bad as all?
Well, the most challenging thing, is being a Black man in technology, because oftentimes outside of security and janitorial staff, I was the only brother in the building. And and when you work in technology, oftentimes you'll find that outside of some Indians or some folks from Bangladesh or whatever, you're going to be the only person of color in the building. And that's where it's not what you know, but who you know comes into play. It's all about networking, like with things like this here, right? So the hardest thing for me, honestly, was being passed up on jobs where I knew I wasn't going to get the job, because I, number one, didn't know nobody in the building. Right?
I love it. Yeah.
But I have one story, just to give you an idea. I was in Memphis. I went up for a job at a travel company doing some network engineering for them. I went through the first, second, third round, didn't do it, didn't get the job. Fourth round, they wanted me to interview with the senior vice president of the entire operation, which was highly unusual. Well, I go in there, and the first thing I noticed is all this Ole Miss stuff around his office, with the Ole Miss tie, the Ole Miss pin on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? So I sat in there for about 5
Good
minutes.
old boy club, huh?
Exactly. So I left. But a couple of months later, they put out a public RFP. My company that I had on the side, my side business, guess who won the bid? I did. It was blind, right? So I go back in there as an individual business owner for way more money than they would have paid me as an employee. I did the same job.
Whoa. So wait, so the meeting, what was the meeting about?
The meeting was basically let me know, boy, you would never work for me. That in my eyes, right? Because, and keep in mind, this was in Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know if any of y'all ever been through Memphis, Tennessee, but they're still stuck in the late 60s, right? So that's what it was all about. But when I went back there through my company, Harris Network Solutions, because I wanted to bid for the job, that same SVP, right, after I was finishing up, wrapping up my work, came and said, hey, don't I know you? And I said, yeah, you do know me. You said I couldn't do the job, but yet you paying me for that job right now.
Top dollar at that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for a whole lot more money, right? So I wrapped up the job and then I left. Fast forward 2 years later, I'm working at St. Jude Children's Hospital, and we hired a young lady.
Right there, Sandy Springs, right?
No. This is in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, Memphis, my bad. All right.
Yeah, the Children's Cancer Hospital. And so we hired a young lady, and she's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't. And she reminded me of the time I interviewed with that company. She's like, you never would have gotten the job. We wanted to hire you, but you never would have gotten the job. You were the best for the job, but you never gotten the job. So that's one of the biggest things that I've faced, and you will face that a lot in technology, is that folks will only see the color of your skin. Even in 2022, they will not be worried about, your skill set, right? They're worried about the color of your skin. However, your skill set can still get you that job. It may not be for them. You just have to take the mentality is their loss, not yours.
Absolutely.
You're just moving on to the next, because everybody, they just need, and I think I said this in the group as well, we just need warm bodies with the basic knowledge.
Yep.
We will teach you the rest for our shop. I just need you to understand the basic knowledge, the OSI model, the open system interconnect model, right? I need you to understand how things connect. And this is taking you all the way back to the late 1950s from DARPA, the folks who actually created the internet for the universities and the military, right? That's how the public internet came about, through DARPA, right? So the OSI model, it's that old. It's the same stuff that everything's running on today. So if you can't explain to me how something is connecting, I don't want you for the job. I will show you the rest of it, right?
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm pretty sure that you've been in positions where you've been in interviewing rooms where you all are interviewing a candidate coming on. What do you see as the commonality when somebody comes on and you can tell that they're brand new to the field, but yet by the end of the interview, most of the managers have green light this individual to we want to have them on board. We can train them up. We can work with them. What would you say has been the commonality, the common trait that you've seen across the board that most of them possess, that usually is that convincing character trait or whatever it is, attribute that those managers green light before, though they don't have the experience?
Yeah, folks that are teachable, right? If you go in there with a humble attitude, saying, you know what, I know I don't know everything. That's what Google is for, right? And literally tell them, I don't know everything. And I've said it myself many times, I don't know everything, because if I did, I wouldn't be sitting here interviewing with you. I'll be on my private island. But I know enough to get the job done. And I just need you to show me exactly what else I need to do. Being teachable. But if you go into an interview being arrogant, that's not going to get you anywhere, because we're looking at personalities also, right? Because you don't want that asshole to come into your shop, right? The know-it-all, right? You want someone who's humble and teachable. That's usually what folks get folks greenlit. If they have the basics, they have a good personality, and they're teachable, those are usually the people who get the job. My experience.
Okay, and then asking you this, what would you say if you had to do it, if you had to, visit Mike back in the 80s when he was just starting off, and you would give him you could just leave him with a piece of career advice on how to either fast track his career or make it more efficient or whatever, regarding his tech career, what would that piece of advice be to him?
Find a mentor. Find a mentor, because usually the people who are the mentors, they are the people they've been doing this for a while. They don't know everything, but they know people. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I keep telling that to people all the time. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Because oftentimes when people get those jobs, they're coming in from referrals. Hey, this is my girl, this is my boy. They work over at XYZ. Right now they work at use your example, IHOP. However, for the past 6 months or a year, they've been doing this AWS solutions architect, and I've been working with them on the side also. But they're ready, that type of thing, right? Or on the same token, right, you have folks who don't know where to start. To have a mentor to who let folks know that this is the path you need to go. If I had someone who pointed me in the right direction, that's one of the reasons why I feel compelled to do what I do, and I have been doing it for years. I actually had a nonprofit when I was in Memphis called You Can Do It. There's an information technology where I will actually go to churches and civic organizations and teach people something called A+. I don't know if you guys ever heard of A+, but it's basically hardware skills, right? And I also taught people mouse, Microsoft Office user, right? I taught people how to use Excel and how to use Word, right? But not only that, but also connected them to people who can get them jobs, right? But on the other flip side, because I was a hustler, when I go to these civic organizations and I offer this stuff for them for free, right? And if they said, hey, can you help us do XYZ? I said, hold up now, let me take off the nonprofit hat and put on the for-profit hat. Now you're talking to Harris.
Consultant. Now you want a consultant.
Exactly. But once again, that all leads to networking, right?
Right.
So it's not what you know, it's who you know. So you may find out through your training and whatnot that somebody may work for, let's say, Racetrack here in Atlanta, right? Somebody might say, hey, man, I want to work at Racetrack. And I can say, you know what? My old manager, he's now the SVP over there. And so half the folks I used to work with at this other company. Let me see what they got going on. Right? So it's all up, it's networking, man. It's find yourself a mentor. Find yourself a mentor. That's my number one thing. And number one thing, find yourself a mentor and just learn the basics. Hey, Bacchus, I see your hand up, man.
Yeah. Well, so hold on. I want to get this Q&A cracking off. It's about the half hour mark.
Yeah.
But Bacchus, before we go to you, hold your question 1 second. I want to go to Kelly's question because this is prevalent. Because I also run into, a lot of our folk who are interested in getting. I call them window shoppers. These are folk who haven't actually attempted to take any cert tests or study for anything, whatever. And they have, questions. And a lot of the questions that I get are, if they're older, they're like, well, is there like ageism bias that they have to deal with? How realistic is it that they actually can get into the field, although they're of an older age? So yeah, Kelly has a good question. What about people over 50 doing a career change? I guess, Kelly, you want to speak to that question?
Yes. I'm a person who pretty much does not have any experience, but I'm looking for something to supplement my income. I have two high school seniors right now going into high school. And I'm looking for retirement also. So I'm looking to do something on a part-time basis to supplement my income. So, I mean, what is the chances for someone 50 and older getting into this career?
It's really good prospects. But I can tell you right now,
Great question.
you're going to give up that other job, the other stuff you're doing, because you want to do this full time. Because I'm going to tell you why. I work, and my wife, Demi, right there, sometimes I might work 2-3 jobs, and each of them might be paying $150 a year, right? And I'm only working maybe 30 hours total the whole damn week. You hear what I'm saying? So it's really easy. If you're willing to learn, and like I say, look at it, like you see all this off my face here. I'm old in technology, right? I'll be 55 next month. It doesn't matter. Do you understand the basics? Are you teachable?
Right.
Do you have a pleasant personality? That's all it takes.
Right.
Honestly, think of it as a pyramid, right? This is what I always tell people. Think of technology as a pyramid. At the base layer, you got 3 layers, right? At that base layer, it's wide and it's deep, right? Well, I'm sorry, it's wide and it's shallow, but you have to know a whole lot, okay? Just gaining that basic knowledge will get you a job. And literally 6 months to get that knowledge. 1 hour a day. Now imagine if you put in 3 or 4 hours a day, you get that knowledge quicker. You understand what I'm saying?
I think I muted. Are you get what he's putting down, Kelly? I think I muted him.
Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah. So it's literally just understand the basics, right? Because we have something called a subject matter expert. You might hear it called a SME, right? SME. All right. Those are the people at the top. Those are the people at the top of the pyramid, right? Those are the people who are making the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. You ain't never gonna get there. I ain't never gonna get there. I ain't even trying to get there because them motherfuckers work a lot. I ain't trying to do that. You hear what I'm saying? But the people in the middle, the intermediate people, those are the people who what I call highly paid peons. And that's all I want to be. If you want to be in management, you want to babysit people, you're going to do that. But the money is right there in the middle. The money is in the middle. Pick a technology. We're talking about cloud, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, some people call it Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. You pick a platform, learn the basics. You get the job. Now, once you have the job, pick something within that technology to specialize in and ride that to the end of your life.
Hey, Bacchus, go ahead and shoot your question.
Right. Yeah, thanks. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. I'm Bacchus. I live in Atlanta. Yeah. I've been in the IT world for forever. Let me tell you, my first thing, I'm gonna age myself. I remember saving up my allowance to go and buy myself a 56K modem in the city. And I had the biggest ear-to-ear smile when I was walking home with that, thinking somebody was gonna rob me. And I stole that thing, and I thought I was flying through Netscape. I thought I was moving, boy. I got rid of that 14K. I got that 56 in there, boy. I was getting it. So I've been in the world ever since then, but I've never actually gotten past more than what I currently do now, which is basically help desk. And every time I'm in any kind of situation like that, I always excel. I always pick up and I'm able to fix things.
What's your question, Bacchus? Get to the question.
All right. My question is, you said you're a mentor. How can I get on your mentor game? Because I need a mentor. I'm out here and I'm looking for a mentor and I'm trying to do exactly this. I'm already studying. I finished my cloud practitioner and I'm looking at my AWS. I started DevOps today. So I'm still learning about that. But I'm trying to make this full-on career change. So
well, I can tell you right now, since you're on a help desk, right? You understand connectivity and all that stuff, right? Why Question is, why did you try to do DevOps instead of going and staying on infrastructure side?
I'm not sure at the moment. Right now, I'm just like intro to a little bit of everything, and I kind of see where I fit. I'm not fully deep into it yet, so I'm just kind of seeing what's best for me.
I'm taking you on as a mentor. The first thing I'm telling you to do is stop that. Do no more DevOps. Learn solutions architecture, infrastructure side. That's number one.
Okay.
Stop along that path. Don't go down that path.
Solutions architecture.
And why would you caution him from going down the DevOps side? I have a guesstimation, but I'm excited to hear your reasoning for that.
Yeah, because DevOps is ended up but a marketing term that just recently came up in the past 3-4 years, right? You basically had developers and you had operations, sysops people, right? So to save money, they changed up the project management style. It used to be traditional PMP type stuff. Now they come up with stuff called Agile and Scrum or whatnot. So basically continuous integration development. So they're just trying to get their widgets to market faster. So they got rid of people. They got rid of some developers. They got rid of system operations people, and they put them all together called DevOps. Now they're called DevOps. So you move much quicker than you traditionally would, and your profile is higher because if you fuck up, you out of a job. You have more opportunities to have what we call a Reggie, a resume generating event.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I always say this about when it comes to DevOps, is that it's definitely something it's a low tier position to be able to get in easily, because all you have to do is pick up a few, especially on the front end, a few programming languages, and then boom, create a portfolio, speak to your portfolio interviews, boom, you get opportunity. But the thing about DevOps engineers oftentimes is that, they also one of the on the front line of always getting booted when the company is doing resizing or need to cut expenses or anything. They're always the ones that are most expendable. So it's one of those careers you have to kind of be dedicated. I would say at least you will have to be dedicated to being just the game of developing. Like you have to have a true interest in wanting to do either on the front end or on the back end, but just scripting and coding all day just has to be your thing. And you have to really immerse yourself into it because there's so much to learn. So many bash scripts to get familiar with, Python libraries to get familiar with, X, Y, and Z. So I like what Mike is saying because it also hints towards what I found for a lot of people taking my quiz is that a lot of them have the results, and the results are to pursue a career system administrator, which falls in line with infrastructure engineers, infrastructure engineering. A lot of just learning, it's all just learning the systems, learning how processes work within the system, moving parts. It's a lot easier than having to focus on scripting languages, so Mike is giving you all great advice there. And don't make that key mistake that I made, that I'm pretty sure most engineers have made trying to get into the field, is trying to learn everything. There is no one person who knows everything. Even the SMEs themselves, they're always constantly having to study material. So you're never going to get to the point where you know it all, and stop trying to do it all. That's why it's important that you find one career path that you want to pursue and work on the skills and certifications that allow you to be able to get into that entry level within the next 6 to 8 months. So,
exactly. And more importantly, on the infrastructure side, you don't have to learn any programming languages. I've been doing this a very long time. It wasn't until 2019, right before COVID, right? Is when I actually had to learn my first programming language, and that was PowerShell, right? So, and I had to do that because I was working on Microsoft Azure stuff, and Azure is based off of PowerShell, right? So I went, all those years without having to program a damn thing. So you don't have to learn any of that stuff to be successful at this here. On the infrastructure side, you don't have to do it because all that stuff is underneath the covers anyway, right? But if you go into the DevOps, you're gonna have to learn a whole lot, and you're gonna have to know.
There you go.
You have to be quick on your feet. You're
There
gonna be
you
on
go.
call 24/7, and when the websites go down, you're the first person they're gonna come look at.
Big facts. Big facts. They're gonna find that line error in the code. Who entered it? Full investigation. So,
and the thing about it is, DevOps people don't make more money than us.
There you go. That is the main thing. You do all the hard, heavy lifting, but you don't get the payday. You know, unless you're business savvy enough to be able to balance multiple contracts and do consulting here and there. But most DevOps engineers aren't even wired that way because they're very linear, code-centric type, personality type of people. Yeah. So I'm glad you said that. That's the biggest part, is the money ain't worth that work ethic, in my personal opinion. Do what you want, you know, but in my opinion. All right, so Dominique wanted to know, she wanted to know, let's see, a good question here was, how can she get hands-on experience? I think this is a good question. I think this could be a broader question. How can somebody get hands-on experience building distributed systems? So like, what's the best method to go about, you know, building that for your portfolio?
Yeah, each cloud service provider, they offer you a free account where, you know, you can basically play all you want with their infrastructure, with their services, and you don't break it. So for instance, the three major cloud providers, you have AWS, who are the 800-pound gorilla. They hold about 60% of the market share in anything cloud. Amazon Web Services. You watch Netflix, it's AWS. You watch the NFL, it's AWS. You shop at Macy's.com, it's AWS. You shop Walmart, it's AWS. Of course, Amazon, all right? But
sometimes you can see the Amazon S3 bucket that is being hosted on in the corner of the website.
So, you know, so Amazon is the largest, but that don't mean that they're the best route to go. Now, Microsoft Azure or Azure, every business uses Microsoft products, and they have been since the 80s. So they're ingrained with Microsoft. And a lot of these companies are transitioning from a CapEx model to an OpEx model. What that means is they were purchasing equipment. Now they're basically leasing equipment. So they don't have to own a data center or a co-location spot, because you have to have the power, you have to have the cooling. You're paying all these different things, right? And for people like us to actually go into the data center to mess around with the servers and do the wiring and whatnot, well, they don't do that anymore. That was a whole CapEx model. Now it's operational expenses, where Amazon, AWS, Google, they own the data centers. We're still, to this day, people like me, we're still connected to servers, but now those servers, we don't own them anymore. Somebody else do. Right? Remember, well, you know, I come from I know somebody in here that used Aaron's rent to own before. So it was in your house, but you paid for it and somebody else owned it. That's pretty much the way AWS works. You know, that server, you might have access to it or whatnot, but they own it. And if you don't pay, guess what? They're gonna come back and take it back from you. They're gonna shut you down.
And anybody else has any more questions before we start to wrap this up?
No, but I want to finish up with Dominique though. But Dominique,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. So I am a system administrator at your type of position, but my question for that was because I am AWS Cloud Practitioner certified, so I'm aware of all of those things. However, when it comes to looking at job descriptions, I build my list of, the basic requirements that they're asking, and compare that to, different job descriptions. And that was one of the things. But how would I be able to translate that into when I get recruiter calls, like, you know, they always say like, well, what kind of distributed systems have you worked on? And of course, I'm like, you know, I haven't physically put my hands on it, but I've done, you know, labs. So I have a subscription to a cloud guru, and I am going through their learning path for cloud engineering. And a part of that is, which was another question I had, was beyond. Unfortunately, it looks like they want people with Linux experience. They want someone to at least have one programming language and at least be knowledgeable in at least one scripting language, you know, Bash or PowerShell. And a lot of people, obviously, because Python is easy to learn, they're asking for Python. So how do we translate that experience, you know, based on those labs when we go to those interviews, or when we go, you know, speaking to a recruiter before we can even get to those interviews?
Well, I can tell you right now, when you see those job descriptions, those are just wish lists.
Of course.
Yeah, all right. If you have 80% or even 70% of what they're looking for, you're a valuable candidate. Don't get imposter syndrome thinking that you're not eligible for this job, right? If you have 70 to 80% of what they're looking for, you are a good candidate for that. If they're looking for a unicorn, they'll never find that, right?
And they're likely
have
going to pay for
70
it.
to 80% of what they're looking for. And what I said earlier, be teachable, right? You don't have to know Python, because I guarantee you, half the people on their staff don't know Python. They might have one person who knows a particular language, right? But everybody else, like me, because I've never coded, but I know how to go to GitHub and find somebody else's code and manipulate it to what I need it to be. There's no sense in anybody reinventing the wheel.
Stop giving away my work tonight.
Oh man, no, I'm trying to tell you. Don't, you know, and use that in your interview as well, right? Say, hey, you know what? I know how to find that code and modify it to fit our particular situation. You don't have to know the code. You just have to know how to modify the code. And whatever problem anybody's running into, there's somebody else who ran into that problem. They have publicized it as well. So Mr. Google is your best friend. If somebody say, well, do you not know you know how to do so-and-so? So no, but I know how to find it on Google or YouTube.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, that person that's interviewing you, that's what they're doing.
And so you have
let me go back to you, Dominique, in particular. I just want to speak to your case in particular. You're spending $29 a month right now for Pluralsight / a cloud guru. Stop wasting your money. $40. I posted in the group before. A guy by the name of Adrian Cantrell. He used to teach for Linux Academy. He was their primary AWS instructor for Linux Academy, who now is a part of a cloud guru and Pluralsight. He has his own thing. Go to his site. $40 one time purchase. He will teach you everything you need to know. And all of those labs and stuff you said you never touched before, he have all of those particular labs, and he will teach you drop by drop by drop what to do. And by the time you were done with his course, you have a portfolio.
I
like that.
Do you know his web? That someone just dropped the link. I feel like I know who you're referring to as well. I think I might have seen him on YouTube with you know, they have the free videos on YouTube as well.
Yeah. And also, Dominique, because I also get where you're coming at with, you know, these recruiters throw everything in the book at you with that they see on the job description. Know this: one, when they ask you, do you have certain programming language experience or whatever, if you've seen it before, if you've had to even enter echo hello before, tell them yes, you've touched it. You have touched it. It's entry level experience. You have junior experience, but yeah, I've touched it before. And then leave it at that. You don't have to go into detail unless they require detail. Most cases they don't, because here's the thing: most recruiters aren't tech people. Most of them are just brand new into the field, just, you know, making a good check, you know, because it's easy to become a recruiter, and, you know, they might have HR experience, things of that sort, but most of them aren't tech people. So they're not going to inquire and ask the questions of the job. So,
that's the thing though. So like, of course it was a personal situation, but I was reached out to by someone from AWS specifically, and the main disqualifying factor for me was that I only had fundamental knowledge of Linux, of Bash scripting, and of Python. Because I said that as well. I said I have knowledge. I've done the basic fundamentals, and I've done the hands-on labs through. At that time, I had CBC Nuggets. And he was like, okay, well, unfortunately, even for this, it was a basic cloud support engineer, so it was basic entry level. He was saying that I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough experience within it to actually be able to do the job. You know, hit the ground running, and then allow them to train me. So
let me say this here, Dominique. Don't feel bad, right? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, and my wife Demi is on this call. She'll let you know too. I told AWS, don't even call me no damn more. You want to know why? Because I have 3 or 4 AWS certifications, right? I've been doing AWS forever. I've doing it for $1 billion companies. Okay. I went through the interview process twice with AWS. It's notoriously difficult to get in AWS. You don't want to work for them. You want to know why? They're gonna work you like a damn dog.
A dog. Hey, Mike, do you have a blind membership? See, the thing is, blind, for those who don't know, when you have a blind, you got to have a company email to have a blind membership. But you basically get all the insight on what really goes on at these companies, everything from salary to actual projects that they're working on, and trends, X, Y, and Z. And I kid you not, it never fails. Every week, somebody is complaining about, Amazon is paying them well, but working them like a dog. It is oh my God.
Yeah. So and Dominique, so this is my advice to you. Learn Contrail.io.com, and I'll put it in the Facebook group again. And I'll put it in the chat.
Please.
That. Get a job. Everybody needs somebody. Since you're on the AWS track, get the solutions architect associate, right? You already have the CCP, right?
Yeah.
Get that, and everyone else who is using AWS, we'll hire you. You don't have to work for AWS.
There you go.
AWS.
Yeah, and Dominic, you're gonna get dozens of no's before you get the yes.
Yeah.
But along the way, you're gonna learn what to say and what not to say in these interviews, and which interviewees, which recruiters to even take serious. You're gonna learn which ones know what they're talking about, which ones don't. Amazon, as even though they control the cloud market, working for them isn't the, I would even say for most engineers, shouldn't be a top goal, a top priority. They just don't have a great PR when it comes to the practices of their employees. So it's like, don't be discouraged by that, and reach out to us. You got Mike here, you got me here, you got other engineers within the group. We're here the group is to service you all. I created the group because there was nothing else for us out there anywhere. And so it's a source for us to be able to utilize to help each other get far in our cloud IT careers. So use the group, ask us questions. We're here to help,
And Dominique, I get calls from recruiters all the time, right? All the time. And I've said it in the group, right? If you want something, link with me on LinkedIn. I'll put my profile out there before, right? And I'll put my profile out here again because it's literally my domain name. It routes to my LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Right? I get calls for AWS jobs all the time. I get calls for Azure jobs all the time. I get jobs for VMware jobs all the time, right? And just because I'm not interested, if I know you're interested, I can turn them on to you.
Bingo.
Okay.
And I can get some money out of it.
There you go.
I hear that.
And Mike, you bring up an interesting point. I'm doing so many things. I know you're doing so many things, but there really needs to be somebody that can just create a script where we can just dump these emails and messages we get from recruiters for others to be able to reach out to these job postings. Because just like you said, I get recruiters coming at me every day. I pick up the phone with an attitude, just to scare them away, to tell them to stop calling, reaching out, X, Y, and Z. Like it's that bad. It's crazy. And I want to share it with everyone, but I don't want to just sit on it would be an all-day job just to sit here and forward on emails and calls and messages from recruiters. So if anybody, I'm just throwing it out there. If anyone ever has an idea or a source of what we can, or even idea that we can put in a group or something where we can just post something somewhere, and anybody who's ready, who has certified and has experience, can just use that pool to pull from, to reach out, start sending out emails and reaching out to recruiters. You know, just let me know, please, because I would love to pass on these recruiters. Because, like Mike said, any business who's doing business in AWS is always looking for an engineer. So yeah,
but I would say if AWS call you again, tell them, you know, thanks, but no thanks. And don't discourage. And more importantly, do not get imposter syndrome. You have your cloud practitioner. You have the basics. You just have to expand upon it now with solutions architecture side. That's all you need to do. You will be fine. Trust me.
Yes. You are so far ahead of the game. You don't even understand right now. Until you get in the industry, that's when you're going to find out, like, dang, I was tripping over my own feet, you know? So, yeah, and Mike is right about that imposter syndrome. So, all right, Mike, so before we close out, you know, I don't want to hold you up too long because I know Demi's staring at you like, boy, you better hurry up and get off this call.
She make me a drink before she come on downstairs.
Are there any parting thoughts you want to leave with us, those of us who are aspiring to get in the field? You know, those of us that's, you know, dealing with the interview process right now. And
reach out to me. All right. Like I said, it's not what you know, it's who you know. All right. And if you are willing to learn the basics, I'm willing to help you, you know, get those basics. But the first thing is, you know, I'll point you in the right direction where you can start to learn on your own. And if I see you serious, then I'll get serious. Because I'm not going to waste my time, because time is money and money is time, and both of them are short, right? So, but if I see that you're serious, I will get serious as well, right? And then that's when I will, if you don't understand something, that's when I'll break it down to you in layman's terms to help you understand it more. And I will, you know, get you where you need to be. Then I'll start introducing you to the exam material to teach you how to actually not only pass the exam, but not to be what we call a paper tiger, to have a certification, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, to help you fill in those skill gaps. And then after that, turn you on to people who are actually looking for people with your new skill set to get you the job. So it's the process all begins with you. How hungry are you? You know, and don't think you're going to make six figures, you know, in your first job. That's bullshit. I don't care what the marketing material says.
Tell them, Mike.
You might just start off between 50 and 80 grand a year with that first job. That first job, take that first job offer. Whatever the hell they offer you, take that first job offer. Earn, get time in service. Stay there about 2 months to a year. And I guarantee your next job, you had six figures the rest of your goddamn life.
Hey, when I tell you Mike is not lying. But when y'all get in the field, and more of you get in the field, you're gonna look back at this and you're gonna be like, you're gonna laugh your ass off, because everything Mike has been sitting here saying, you're gonna experience. You're gonna have, it's gonna click, it's gonna make sense, you're gonna see it with others. And then you're gonna look around at others trying to get in the field, and you're gonna see them pedaling the same bike that you were once pedaling, just chasing their own ghost of imposter syndrome. Because that's really what's holding all, I can guarantee 99% of you all back, is imposter syndrome. I bet most of you have even seen job description and not applied because it had this stonewall list of qualifications that you said, oh man, I could never get that job. You know, so we know, we've been there. So, and Mike's right. Those first 2 years, you're gonna have to put in work, pay your dues. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get paid, you're still gonna make more than, you're gonna make good money. But you know, might not be six figure, but you put in that work, year 2 and beyond, you change the rest of your life. So that's what it is. Mike, I appreciate it. There's the links in the chat to reach out to Mike. Also, Mike, if you could make a post within the group so others can reach out to you as well. That would be awesome, and especially included the guys link that you Contrail that you were referring to earlier. And thanks a lot, man. You have a beautiful story, man. I wish you nothing but continued success, man. I look forward to you know, us doing more work in the future, man. And thank you, man. The community thanks you, man. We needed this.
All right, Bacchus, I sent you a chat message in there with my contact information. Anybody else want my contact information? Just ping me inside of the group or right here, right now, and I'll give you my contact information.
Beautiful, man.